So you need Italian bread I get it from Market Basket. You can use it with the seeds or without, I don't think it really matters. But you're going to crumb it and make it all into breadcrumbs using your blender. So you turn that into breadcrumbs. And make extra because you can always freeze them if you have too much. Okay, so the roast that I showed you earlier today in the store, the bottom of the round, you're going to ask the butcher to ground it up so it looks like hamburger, but it's still the bottom of the round roast. You're also going to need Romano grated cheese. So you're going to do 1 handful of cheese per pound of the meat. So make sure you get a lot. So you're going to do 2 handfuls of breadcrumbs for every pound of the ground beef that you have. So I'm going to do 8 handfuls of the breadcrumbs. And this is the Italian bread that we turned into breadcrumbs earlier. 4, 3. I'm just going to throw it all in there because I already measured it out. So that's 2 handfuls of bread per pound. Then you're going to do 2 handfuls of Romano cheese, grated cheese 1 handful of Romano cheese per pound. So I would be doing 4, and I actually already measured that out earlier. So I find it easier to, you're going to add salt and pepper and then mix it all together. Okay, so you're going to mix it all together and you're going to add the 1 yolk per pound. So I rounded up to 4, so there's 4 yolks in here. I'm just going to mix it all in together. It gets gross, but okay. I always add more salt because I feel like we always need more. My least favorite part is you got to roll the meatballs. So you just get a good chunk, put it together, roll it up. I press them down so they're a little flat. I mean, that's a little small. But you do that, stick them in the egg white. So that's probably a good size. It's the most tedious part, is rolling meatballs. So you're gonna dip them in the egg white, you're gonna flip them over, and then you'll stick them in that in the fryer. Okay, so when you're ready to cook them, this thing is a lifesaver. I'm gonna take this off so I can show you. To cook them. This thing has been the best thing for cooking the meatballs because we used to have to cook them on the stove in a fry pan. It would take forever. I'd burn half of them. You can regulate the heat pretty good here, and you can do probably about 25 meatballs at a time. So you're gonna add, don't mind I scratched it up pretty good over the years, but you're gonna add olive oil to the bottom. You want a good amount of coating there because it just so it could, so like half the meatball is frying at once, and then you're gonna probably cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes and then flip them over when you get to that point. So I flipped them all over so they're coated on both sides with the egg white. I just did a few, it's just so we can test them. I might need to add more salt or pepper. We'll know in a minute when we try them. And then we're gonna throw them into the fryer. So hopefully I don't lose my phone in here. So I'm gonna cook them for about 3 or 4 minutes on each side, and then I flip them over, and then we'll have an idea of if they taste good, or if we need to add anything. So it's still getting hot. It might take a little bit longer because I just put the oil on. Cover it up. We'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes. So we're just gonna flip them over. Alexa, stop. And then we're gonna just cook them for another about 4 minutes, maybe 5, because I feel like it's still heating up a little bit. The next batch will probably be a little less time because the oil will be hotter. But they're starting to look good. Cover it back up. Alexa, put a timer on for 4 minutes. And we'll let it go. Okay, so 4 minutes is up. We're gonna see how they look. Alexa, stop. We got new tongs. Alexa, stop. Let's just see. So I like to just cut them in half to make sure they're cooked all the way through. So that looks pretty good. There's no pink. So that looks like they're done. So that was a good amount of time for them. So we will pop them out, try them, see if they need any more salt or pepper, and then continue rolling. Okay, so I actually turned the heat up a little bit, so this looks more like they should be when you turn them over, a little more crispier on each side. And I actually had to add more salt and pepper for the rest of the batch. I'm glad that's why you always test. They definitely needed salt and pepper.